Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Tonight's film is 1983's Diamonds of the Kilimandjaro. This is a Jess Franco film. It actually states it's someplace around in different areas here. I mean, it says it's written and directed by Jess Franco and also produced by Jess Franco, but other sources online on IMDb say that he might have directed it with someone else. But the actual DVD release put out, this is by Shriek Show, states that he actually wrote it, directed it, and produced it. And this is Diamonds of the Kilimandjaro, 1983. At the bottom here, it actually states an alternate title, I believe, Treasure of the White Goddess. Now, this is a really unique film. Now, you can see the beautiful artwork on the front of this DVD here. And actress-wise and actor-wise, we have the girl in the front here is Katia, and her Katia Bernhardt, I believe her name is, if I'm getting it correctly, but she was in the story of Linda, which I also reviewed on this site, and she plays Linda in that film. Beautiful brunette woman who was in just a few Jess Franco films, and this being her almost playing the lead here. And just very beautiful face, alluring, and just a really awesome Jess Franco actress here, and very easy on the eyes. This is a film that's very bizarre because one would think that it's a cannibal film of some sort, and but you're getting like the jungle cannibal film type of vibe, but it's really not. You do have a story of civilized people going to the jungle, civilized people in the city of sorts going to the jungle, the uncivilized folk, to rescue someone that was once civilized and got stuck there, but now they are a part of the community. There is horror. There are horror elements in this film. Nature, natural horrors, nature horrors, but then also murders. Only a few murders, but actually pretty well staged and well done and effective. Jess Franco has never been someone who was concerned much about special effects and gore and things like that. But the sections in this film where there are murders are actually they're violent in their own way and simple. And they cut away, but they're effective. He also utilized stock footage in this film of various animals and things like that, but also used a lot of his own footage, actually shooting it there, of birds and of this one monkey. While the stock footage looks different, I really believe that Jess Franco did some really awesome things with the stock footage. The stock is different, of course, but the film stock is different, but he has cut it in well, and it works. This film, actor-wise, you do have a lot of the regulars. You have the one guy in particular who's been in many Franco films, and you also have a couple other people as well, and of course Katia, and there is a short-haired redhead in this film that looked familiar to me, but I don't believe I've necessarily seen her before. She was attractive, and she also provided most of the sexuality of this film in full nudity. The music of this film is unbelievable, and of course, again, done by a Franco regular, Daniel White. We have awesome synthesized 80s type score. We have beautiful, intricate sections of the score. Then we have very horrific sections of the score that are abrasive and dark and without melody and very, very like charging at the viewer, oppressive music. And then we have mysterious music, and then we have tribal music with tribal vocals. The music in this film, my gosh, should definitely be released on a soundtrack. Really awesome. Daniel White has always been great with his Jess Franco films, and this is really at a peak. this is also an example of the way that Jess Franco was able to take a low budget film and make it look not as low budget. He was always doing that. If you know Jess Franco films, he was always doing that. And in this particular film, it really, really shows. You know this is an extremely low budget film. I mean, in this release, we have, dubbing that's not so great, but he utilized these awesome locations. I mean, it looks like we're in the jungle. Really most of the entire film is in this jungle. We have some sections in a kind of a lush chandelier type mansion in the Caribbean or in the tropics. But for the majority of the film, we're in this jungle setting, and there's this awesome body of water section with a raft, and there's shots with the sun. There's this one shot with the sun with Katya and one of the other actors near the end of the film, and there's these shots of a woman swimming in the water with this alligator. You know, Jess Franco and alligators with the nature horror, right? Um, he really utilized the setting in really, really awesome ways. I mean, and this was low budget, and we even had some, makeshift huts, kind of, and we had some tribal dancing. And the black woman that's in this film is actually in his film Devil Hunter. Now, this film is it has kind of action, it has kind of an adventure vibe, it has like a Tarzan vibe, a female Tarzan vibe, and then it has horror in it as well. And it has that whole kind of aspect of the civilized going to the uncivilized world, but there's no cannibals. Now, I also have to say that the tribal people, wearing these skull masks that are probably some of the scariest visuals in this type of jungle film that I've ever seen. The masks are so freaking dark and scary, like really, really effective masks. This is a really unique film genre-wise because you really can't 100% say it's a horror film, but it's, kind of dark and horrific, but in tone and with the music from Daniel White, but it has an action vibe and an adventure vibe, and because Jess Franco directed it, it definitely has sexuality and an erotic vibe. We have a couple sex scenes in this film, but they're not explicit. They're short. There's one in particular that's the longest one, but it's definitely hot and heavy, but it's not explicit at all. It's not even that soft core, to be honest with you, but it goes on. We do have full nudity from the redheaded girl in the film. And she looks great, and Katya is topless, kind of wearing like a tribal kind of skirt, and then the black woman as well, who's also in Devil Hunter, is topless. So you have that kind of sexual bent, and the dialogue in this film is definitely, I mean, crazy. There is some wild dialogue in this film where you don't know if you should be laughing or if it's just, there's some disturbing dialogue, and there's some sexual dialogue and some wild like F-bombs dropping in the film as well. Beautiful shots from Franco in this film. Lots of, because this film is a jungle film and he always finds a way to capture nature in any of his films, he really tries to milk the setting here. And, Katya kind of plays a female Tarzan. She has like these rope swinging scenes and things like this. And these kind of intimate scenes where she's kind of communicating with this monkey or her pets, these the animals in the jungle. It's a really, really bizarre film, even for Franco, because Franco's other jungle films are really like violent, cannibal, and much more sexually explicit, whereas this film is not like those other ones. So it's really, really kind of a bizarre film in the catalog. All the actors are great. Now it's always hard with the voiceovers and everything, but the acting itself, the emotions, the different characters are really, you have like these various characters in the film. You have this one guy who kind of leads the troop in sections. You have who he kind of would seem like he'd be an exploitation king. I don't know if he's been in other films. I haven't researched him yet, but he has that look like that I've seen him before somewhere else. But the film kind of has its own twists and turns in it, and there are definitely some things that happen in the last 15 minutes that have some twists and turns as well. We have kind of the inside tribal conflict, some very bizarre things with a white god against white people. Probably one of the most bizarre endings I've seen in a film, just from the last line of the film and how the film ends. Just very, very bizarre. So this is Diamonds of Kilimandjaro. Not even just Diamonds of Kilimandjaro by Jess Franco, 1983. This is really, a kind of a bizarre film, and even the sexuality of the film with topless Katia here. You're almost like, well, it's a tribal. It's a tribal setting, so it almost doesn't feel like sexuality, but the way Franco, really films her, and he does do a lot of reverse zoom shots in this film, and he is a little bit shaky with the camera, and then also doing a lot of zooms and things like that, but he's also very subtle with just filming, nature and the jungle setting. So there you go, folks. Love Katia. She's, one of my Franco favorites. Just be aware she has some hair in her armpits if you're not used to that. She always does, even in the story of Linda, I believe. Also known as Treasure of the White Goddess, I believe. Folks, here it is, 1983, Jess Franco, Diamonds of the Kilimandjaro. This is definitely a weird jungle film that I have not seen one like this before. Okay, folks, thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro. And please feel free to check out my other reviews in this channel. There are tons of Jess Franco reviews in this channel, and tons more coming. But this is also a channel in general where I make sure to focus on films that I believe are not being talked about enough. Please feel free to check out my own films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you, and good night.